What's up YouTube, Brownie here, coming to you with another video, and today we're going to do some Arania things. We're going to take her into Hollow Campaign, see if we can't get a little further in that, and then we're also going to, we're going to take a look at her skills here soon, and I want to talk about where most of her damage comes from, and also just like what she's doing for the whole team. I was talking to Fire's Wrath in my Discord. Very solid source of info. If you guys ever have questions in the Discord, he is always a good person to take an answer from. But yeah, he confirmed what I believed to be true about Arania. So yeah, we'll take a look at her skills and go over all this stuff. Okay, so for her skills, we have her active, which says deals 1600% of attack damage to one enemy, meanwhile restores all allies 800% of attack as HP for 2 rounds. So it's a solid heal. If self has at least 4 layers of Queen's Core, consumes 4 layers of Queen's Core to additionally restore them at 25% of their lost HP, so even more healing. And then also it increases their holy damage and their crit damage. So the holy damage is awesome. The crit damage usually you're probably going to be capped, so that's not as big of a deal, but what's cool about Arania is she actually makes your support heroes do more damage. So this will probably help your support heroes that don't have the crit damage cap, so that's kind of cool. Heroes like DGN will do more damage and perform a lot better for you, so it's not totally wasted. And that lasts for 3 rounds. Now, if any enemy is inflicted with Black Kindling, Bloodtide Wrath will be triggered. And Bloodtide Wrath says, for every enemy with Black Kindling, additionally burns 2 random enemies, dealing 1000% of attack damage one time for 2 rounds. Meanwhile, each attack inflicts Scorching Curse on them for 5 rounds, with an 80% chance to remove 1 attribute buff from the enemies with Black Kindling and a 50% chance to petrify them for 2 rounds. Bloodtide Wrath will not trigger counterattacks or pursue attacks. So that's a cool thing when you're fighting like a queen team, and she does her active, like she hits the one person and then you'll see the 2 big fire beams come up out of the other 2 heroes that it hits. Or if she has if she has 3 Scorching Curses out, she's gonna hit 6 extra enemies. If one of those is queen, it's not going to trigger the pings, and that's a very solid thing to have because queen pings in something like campaign can be so awful. But yeah, that's the active, and remember Scorching Curse because that's going to come into play a lot. The sublimations for this active are when dealing damage. It increases the all damage dealt, but then when dealing damage, additionally inflicts 1 Scorching Curse on the target, from which the target takes an extra 300% of attack. So that already, there's 2 Scorching Curses. When Queen's Cores are consumed, additionally grants all allies a shield equal to 1000% of attack, increases their damage reduction by 12%. So a solid support part of the tree. I really like that. Now let's take a look at her passive skill. Says changes the basic attack to deals 1200% of attack damage to the enemy with the highest attack and reduces their precision, crit, and restores allies HP for 2 rounds. Or the 2 allies with the HP for lowest HP for 2 rounds. Sorry. This is a very, very solid basic or passive skill for PvP, and it really, really helps you when you're trying to build shields with HHA, because you'll get a lot more blocks when you're lowering the enemy's precision, and that's huge. So yeah, solid skill. Now the bonuses here, there's a 100% chance to additionally reduce the enemy's crit damage, so that's huge. That's a lot of damage reduction right there. And then increases the attack of the ally with the highest attack by 8%. So a solid attack increase for Mockman. Never gonna turn that down. Let's take a look at Blazing Agony, skill 3. So This says when a battle starts or when self is in the battle as a substitute, inflicts black kindling on the one enemy with the lowest HP, and when any enemy with black kindling dies, it restores 1500% of attack as HP with an 80% chance to restore self 50 energy. So basically, it's just describing what happens. It's a solid thing that she gets, like the energy and all that stuff. But what's cool over here is when inflicting black kindling, increases the target's all damage received by 8% for 2 rounds. This is where a lot of the extra damage that, like, because when you start using Arania, you're going to notice that your support heroes even are starting to do more damage. And this all damage received by 8% is actually super, super huge. So yeah, it's something you'll definitely notice when you're using her. And then for the noble sublimation, at the end of each round, inflicts 1 scorching curse on the enemy with scorching curse, from which they take an extra 300% of attack damage. So there's more scorching curse, and this is where a lot of your damage comes from with Arania. Is all these scorching curses that get put on the enemies. They just stack up super quick and start to do massive damage. It's really, really cool to watch. And then let's see, what else is there. Yeah. Okay, now the last skill. At the end of each round, for every enemy with black kindling, grants self 1 layer of Queen's Core and increases self damage reduction by 10% for 2 rounds. When self takes damage dealt by basic attacks or active skills from enemies with black kindling, it burns 3 enemies with the lowest HP, dealing 500% of attack damage for 2 rounds. Meanwhile, restores all allies 400% of HP for 2 rounds and increases their all damage reduction by 5%. So it's just another solid support skill, and yeah, I don't know, it's just a good solid skill for being a support hero. For the sublimations, at the end of each round, if self has 5 layers of Queen's Core, it removes 1 dot from herself, and that's a solid thing, because you actually do get a lot of these Queen's Core things. They start to come in quick for her, and in PvP especially, there's a lot of dot teams now, and removing those dots is huge. And then that way you can run CC removal, and you're not hurt so bad by avoiding dot removal with your enables. For the noble sublimation, it says when self takes damage from active skills or basic attacks released by enemies with black kindling, additionally inflicts 1 scorching curse on them for 2 rounds. So there's more scorching curses, and like I said, these things add up so fast, and before you know it, you've got just tons of scorching curses on the enemies, and they're taking tons of damage at the end of the round and stuff like that. Now for her thingy here, her transition skill, it says when an ally's active skill successfully hits a target, consumes 3 layers of transition power to deal 800% of attack damage to 3 random enemies, and inflicts scorching curse for 6 rounds. Cannot release this skill without enough layers of transition power. So she can do this skill twice a round if she has 6 layers from doing an active, and that's 2 more scorching curses put on the enemies. So a ton more damage. These are the bonus pivots or whatever they're called that I'd choose, and it's 6 layers per active. Increases the dot by 20% and caps at 5,000% of her attack. That's huge. And then reduces the target's attack. And I kind of swap around between this one. Sometimes I do the one that gives her more. I'll just show you. So you can do this one. It additionally burns targets for 1,200% of attack, or you can do this one that has the petrify chance, or you can do the one that inflicts black kindling or black kindling ash every time she does her thing. So sometimes I like to do this one to. I've been testing it. It's kind of hard to test this stuff, but this one's kind of cool because you get a lot of enemies with black kindling pretty quickly, and it helps. So yeah. But mainly I've been staying on this one because it seems like it does the most damage. But yeah, that's her skills, and where her damage comes from, like I was saying, is mostly Scorching Curse, and then also the damage that she's enabling your team to put out with the all damage received. Alright, so we're going to hop in Hollow campaign here and do some fights. We're going to fight this bottom team with the Ticks and the King Bartons and stuff. I'm going to leave Mockman to do the Olivia team with the Amon-Ra and Gustins, because this could be a little bit of a time consumer depending on how much Olivia hits Mockman and reduces his attack and all that kind of stuff. So we'll see what happens. I might just skip that one so you guys don't have to watch 20,000 attempts. But anyway, let's activate the Betty core for this team down here, and yeah. So basically, we're gonna hope that Betty can CC the enemies enough that we can get our debuffs out, like DGN debuffing everybody, and just mainly getting letting our team have some strength build up before she dies and the enemy team has all their attacks to do. So looks like Betty's having a little bit of a tough time CCing the enemy here, but we're still alive and holding on. Arania doing some nice heals, as you can see. Alright, Betty, good job. So DGN and Arania are going to be the main damage dealers here. You'll notice with this DGN active, you'll see some damage come out. Arania's got an active here that's going to give her some transition layers, which also makes her do more scorching curses on the enemies, and that in turn just ramps up the damage even more. So yeah, I'm surprised DGN hasn't died yet. Arania is actually keeping her alive pretty well. And there you see those fire beams are the things that won't trigger any extra counterattacks or anything like that. And there we have the win. Let's check out the damage report. Look, all the damage is spread out pretty even, and normally these guys like Betty, Queen, Freya, they wouldn't do much damage, but with that, those buffs that she's given, the extra holy damage and the crit damage and stuff, and then the all damage received on that the enemies get, it just lets them do way more damage than they normally would, because it adds up. It just adds up over the rounds. So let's see if Mockman can pull out a win here. I don't know. His active might be a little bit limited. If yeah, he got shrunk. So watch what this does to his damage. It's crazy. Like that should have killed all three of those guys, no problem. And he died because of the healing curse. So, or he was linked to Gustin. I didn't see which one it was. So anyway, I'm gonna do some attempts on this and skip it so you guys don't have to watch. Okay, so we ended up beating that. Mockman just needed to get the right Omen Rifts out, and we were good to go. So let's go and check this fight out. We're gonna have some Eloises and Scaries and Ignis and another basic Arania. So let's see if she can take this wave. Or I should say the team. See if the team can take this wave. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how they'll do against the counterattacks from the Eloises, but if we can get them CC'd, we won't have to really worry about it. So, alright. Nice CC by the Betty. Now we just gotta... Oh, and when you're running your Arania, one thing to remember is you want her to be pretty fast because you want her to get her transition stacks ASAP, because then the next actives that are done by your allies will trigger her transition skill to do more scorching curses and more damage and healing. So yeah, it's always good to have her be really fast and get those transition skills out there. 'Cause those scorching curses, they add up so much. Like that was her transition skill right there that you guys saw. I should slow it down for you. We'll try to do that next fight. Okay, so right here is going to be Oh, they died. Oh, man. Let's see the damage. Alright, so DGN did the most damage there, and then mainly if the fight is a shorter fight, DGN's usually going to outdamage Arania. If the fight is longer, it's going to be Arania that pulls ahead in the damage. At least for the team I'm running. And when Arania is D6, it might be completely different. So I don't know. I still don't have my D6 hero yet, and I can't wait to get it. Mockman doing a nice big old active. Everybody's stunned. That's always cool. And then we got Patricia here. I have her built just because why not? I don't use her, but she's always up in the air blocking Mockman, the view of Mockman, so I'm going to have to move her. Yeah, there we go. Alright, so I think that's going to be it for today's video. I don't want to make this video too long. I think it's already really long. We'll have to see when I edit it down. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Hopefully you found some stuff out about Arania. That's a mouthful. And yeah, so to sum it up, she's basically getting a lot of her damage from her Scorching Curses that she's putting out. That's like where all of it comes from. And then she's got amazing heals and support skills, plus that all damage received that she puts on the enemies with Black Kindling is a huge boost to your support heroes doing damage and stuff. You'll notice your whole team doing way more damage. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.